Hey folks, we're here with Page Geske, author of Milepost 95, and we're going to talk about this here in just a moment. Local author here in Twin Falls, but first, March was colon cancer month, and I know that's something near and dear to you. And
Right.
kind of tell us why.
Well, I am one of those statistics that my very first colonoscopy at age 51, they found stage 2 cancer. And it was contained, it was the size of a lime in the cecum section of my colon. So had I not had a colonoscopy done, it could have gone outside the colon wall and metastasized. But fortunately, it didn't.
And so, why is it so important, do you think, for people to know your story, and why are you so passionate about letting people know about your story?
I think largely because colon cancer is sometimes very hard to detect, very few symptoms. Mine were basically, I was really tired, so I was very, very anemic, and that was a result of having cancer, but I didn't know it at the time. I was training for a 100-mile bike ride, century ride, and was just exhausted, wiped out, and normally, if you don't have any history of colon cancer in your life, in your family, you should have a colonoscopy at 50. I happened to be 51 when I got mine, and I hadn't gotten one at 50, and I felt very prompted, like, I'm not feeling that great. I should probably go ahead and get this done by the end of the year, and then boom. Went in, had the colonoscopy done on December 21st, and was basically told you need to have surgery immediately.
So, moral of the story, get checked.
Correct.
Seriously, folks, here. And that's part of, you tell a little bit about that story in your book here. And so Milepost 95, which by the way you can pick up on Amazon, you can also pick it up at milepost95.com, is your story.
Correct.
Not only your story with the cancer and overcoming that, but also a horrific car wreck, some personal trials and tribulations and things, and From Wreckage to Redemption is the subtitle of this book, and it's a great read. Pick it up. It's very inspirational. And Paige, I know this is kind of a crazy thing for you because it's about the 1-year anniversary of this book being released. And
Right.
kind of tell me about the response that you've received from readers over the past year.
Well, I guess it's been really encouraging. I mean, you put yourself out there, and you're real and you're authentic, and you tell your story, and you do it to help people. And then you think, well, I hope it's going to help people. But then when you actually, I'd say one of my favorite things to do is to talk to people that have read it and to hear how it's helped them or how it's impacted them. Whether it's, I had lost a lot of hope in my life. You really encouraged me to not give up hope, or to stay in my marriage, or to get through a difficult surgery, or to go and have a colonoscopy. Those are the things you're like, this is why I wrote the book, is to leave a legacy, to encourage people. And I think another thing that's resulted is a real understanding of, I feel like the book talks a lot about transitions that we have in life, both expected and unexpected. And so kind of another tagline is help for the transition, hope for the journey that people have.
That word transition, and because that's life, right? For a lot of us, and everybody has their own journey, but that word sticks out to me with this book, with transitions, because you went through many of them, and it seemed like several of them at the same time, and back to back to back. So what helped you through those transitions, both expected and unexpected, like you say, to come out on top and be able to write your story and share it with the world?
I'd say, first of all, my faith. Obviously, God was a huge part of my testimony. And then I have incredible family and friends, so community is really important. I feel like when people are going through transitions, even when you're very stubborn like I was, and it's hard to ask for help, a lot of times in transitions, when you're becoming a single parent or having to recuperate or rehabilitate, we want to do it all on our own, you know. Mm-hmm. Don't help me, I'll do it by myself. And that's not why we have people and community and friends. And it's that asking for help and allowing community to help you get through difficult things. I'd say another couple things were just trying to focus on the things that you can control, like drinking enough water, eating properly, exercising when you can, learning to exercise again. I mean, for a large part of the time, 3 months, I was in a wheelchair, and I had been a very, very active person. So I had to learn to walk again, and then had to learn to go back to the gym, learn how to lift weights again, learn how to walk half marathons, ride a bike. Had to build up all that endurance again to be able to enjoy life and to stick around as long as I possibly can.
So Milepost 95 is an actual piece of highway here in Idaho where the crash occurred. Mm-hmm. What year was that?
2007.
Okay. And it just was one of those, things that completely, I mean, here you are going on,
driving down the road, minding your own business,
living life, and how fast things can change from one moment to the next. And like you say, you spend a lot of time in the hospital. I won't give away too much of the book. Spoiler, but being able to come out on top and share your story, like I say, is probably one of the hardest things, right? Mm-hmm. And like, what made you think like, I'm going to go ahead and write a book? Or, I mean, how did that kind of come to be? Like,
well, it transpired. It took me 6 years to write it, but it also took me 6 years to live it. So you have to live it before you can write it, right? So I just kind of thought about it and prayed about it and talked to other people about it. Got a lot of counsel from authors and writers, and felt encouraged to tell my story. And I'm glad I did, because I do feel like it's helping people and encouraging people, and that's the whole reason I wrote it.
Was it a little therapeutic for you as well to kind of go through that process?
Yeah, it is kind of pretty major to get all your thoughts and feelings out, to relive a lot of the emotions. Some of it was very hard.
Absolutely.
To write and kind of relive, but then again, with transitions, when you get on the other side of that and you look back and you see the growth that's transpired, and you realize, I'm a stronger person because of that, then that makes all the difference. It really does.
So here you are, a local author from Twin Falls, Idaho, and being able to now share your story and travel around the country to do different shows and things. I mean, that's kind of crazy too, right? Like,
it is.
It's a whole new world to almost be. I mean, you told me that people are stopping you in Costco and saying, "Hey, you're that lady," right? And it's kind of surreal, like, to kind of be a published author and be kind of on that traveling circle a little bit. And I know have had some speaking arrangements as well, and so you're kind of now being
trying
able
to get that up a little bit, get the speaking going more.
Yeah.
But
Well, and that's the cool thing too, is once you do share your story, then more people want to hear more about it. So is there going to be a second book by author?
We're working on that, possibly.
Okay.
Yeah, we're working on that. I have some assignments to get some outlines done for a new possible book, so.
Because I know people have asked for it. I've seen some of the reviews, right, where they're like, "Hey, when's the next one coming out?"
Which is crazy, because you write a book and you don't think...
You thought you were done, right?
You don't think people will read it, and then they read it, and then they're like, "Are you going to write another one?" And you're like, "Okay, I didn't even think of that about that." But someone recently brought up the point that they were like, "Well, the title of your book kind of leads to a road trip speaking type of engagement." So, I'm all about road tripping. So if you do need a speaker for any kind of event or inspiration or motivation, I'll be happy to. You can reach out to me on my website, or I'd be happy to get in contact with you.
So check out Paige on Facebook or website, milepost95.com. And this is just kind of the beginning of a whole new, like you say, journey for you. So check it out, Milepost 95 on Amazon and at milepost95.com. Thanks, Paige.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thanks, Ryan, so much.